Hello, hello, hello. My name is Tim Cleaver, broadcasting live from twitch.tv/Beardo Cleaver. Welcome back to my channel. Today we're playing a game called The Stanley Parable. So apparently it's autobiographical about the dude from The Office. No. But, I'm looking forward to playing it anyway. I've heard of this game over the years, plenty of times. And I saw Video Game Donkey's video on it a few weeks ago, and that kind of convinced me to play it. So it's a shorter game. I think it's like about an hour and a half or so.
This is the story of a man named Stanley. Stanley worked for a company in a big building where he was employee number 427.
We each get our own room?
Employee number 427's job was simple. He sat at his desk in room 427 and he pushed buttons on a keyboard. Orders came to him through a monitor on his desk, telling him what buttons to push, how long to push them, and in what order. This is what employee 427 did every day of every month of every year. And although others might have considered it soul-rending, Stanley relished every moment that the orders came in, as though he had been made exactly for this job. And Stanley was happy.
Looks happy in a
And then one day,
isolated
something very
void like
peculiar
that.
happened. Something that would forever change Stanley. Something he would never quite forget. He had been at his desk for nearly an hour when he realized that not one single order had arrived on the monitor for him to follow. No one had showed up to give him instructions, call a meeting, or even say hi. Never in all his years at the company had this happened, this complete isolation. Something was very clearly wrong. Shocked, frozen solid, Stanley found himself unable to move for the longest time.
SPG, hello,
But
buddy.
as he came to
How's it
his
going?
wits and regained his senses, he got up from his desk and stepped out of his office.
Good to see you. Well, let's step out of my desk. Have you played this, man? I've heard a lot of good things about it. I just never played it before. Okay, we got the incoming box. We got the outgoing box. We got some pencils. We got a pencil sharpener. We got a cup of coffee. Can we crouch? No crouch. Any other employees?
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean?
It means they're on lunch.
Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers.
Isn't that the same voice of the guy from Little Big Planet? Like the narrator from Little Big Planet? And I know there's like two ways to play this. We can follow the instructions and we can ignore them. I think I'm going to follow the instructions for first playthrough. Yeah, it's supposed to be like a meta type of game, like where the narrator's narration changes to what you do. Excuse me, I'm still recovering from a cold. What's that? Okay, so we gotta find the meeting room. Uh-oh.
When Stanley came to a set of two open doors, he entered the door on his left.
This left?
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
If anyone knows the answers, it's the boss. Targets. Push for funding for research and development of new coffee machine. Standardize graphs 40 times wide. Get Chris out of the broom closet. Fucking Chris. Synergize papers. Hire someone to synergize papers. Papers are too synergized. Fire paper guy. Hire somebody to fire the paper synergy guy. Who moved my desk? Please keep the targets on the topic of the future was yesterday. Tomorrow is now. Well, the future is now. And that's not cost efficient. Standardized graphs, that's not efficient. Or cost efficient. Tomorrow, complete today's unfinished agenda items. Write next day's agenda and reflect. Employee 417, 405, 491, 416, 431, and Jim. Jim doesn't have a number. Maybe Jim's the boss. Meeting room, floor 4 by X. Meeting schedule. Monday, weekly target admin, marketing Mondays. It's going to be like an 8-hour playthrough, I could tell already. This box is too small. Yeah, that's what it is. 8bird. Do not alter without consulting whiteboard manager. There's a whiteboard manager? Rip Franz. Oh man, Franz died. Centigrade, hello. Yeah, good to see you. How you doing, Centigrade? Long time. To do, synergize core value expenditures, shift global market parade, probably. Monetize free-to-play. Number of slides in this slide. There's a slide and charts and slides and a chart. What do people want? They want things. They want money, more money, things, but with money to buy more things. Graphs? Graphs about things and money. We have our new product. Mike James, you are fired. The stock market is somewhere here. It's around there somewhere. That's a colored in segment right there. Stripes require more secondary research. What is hot? Profits times 6. 6 times profits. Yeah, I've always wanted to play it. It's like a exploration game, I'd say. I haven't really seen any puzzles yet, but just like I'm looking forward to like jokes and stuff. This is a bi-quarterly post-review. We need less reviews. 402 plus 405 want to get rid of the death sports portion in the primary review schedule. But I think that's a stupid idea. More water coolers, more water cooler heaters. Charts need to be more hip to appeal to teenage demographic. Find teenagers to put in teenage demographic. A big net, maybe? Some sort of child trap? Jesus. Teenagers. Size of demographic. That's like a lot of percentage. So they just make up a small portion of that demographic. Space between the teenagers is right there. Throw something in the idea bin. Ideas bin. There it goes. Look at that. That's the ideas bin. 1. No more bins / trash cans. 2. Renaming of the ideas on. Or 30, I guess. Firing of me. And there's the ideas bin. It's Tony Robbins' Market Mysteries of Success? Possibly. Here, this is success. Solving interpersonal conflict. If you ever find yourself in a conflict with another diligent employee like yourself, but more inclined towards awe, what are your dreams for the future? Talk radio, nature. Excuse me. Transcend, charts, mitosis, a boat. Can I pause that? Tips for not getting fired. Talk less. Do unbelievably amazing work all the time, every day, with no expectation of promotion or recognition. And don't get fired. How to solve a dispute with a coworker. Let it ball up inside you, and that turns to take it out passive-aggressively on other coworkers, and then resent coworkers for not supporting something. I wish I could pause that. Where's Tony Robbins? If I was Tony Robbins, I would sit right here. Head of the table. Everyone is unique. You, most of all. You are more unique than anyone. The others are just somewhat unique. We are uniquely unique. Okay. Should we go up or down?
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
We go up. Can we look outside? Jeff, hello. Good afternoon. How are you? Welcome in, buddy. If I was a boss's office, where would I be? Executive bathroom. Is George Costanza in there? You played this years ago? Yeah, nice. I'm digging it so far. You can tell it's from like 1990. The computers, at least. Here, this is the boss's office. Piano?
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this. What dark secret was being held from him? What he could not have known was that the keypad behind the boss's desk guarded the terrible truth that his boss had been keeping from him. And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number, 2845.
That's a big secret.
But of course, Stanley couldn't possibly have known.
No, how could we have known that it's, what was it, 2845? Behind the boss's desk. Yeah, I can imagine there's a lot of endings. Here. 2, 8,
Stanley
4.
just sat around twiddling his thumbs.
No, I didn't.
Trying to input anything on the device was useless, since he could never possibly know that the combination was 2845.
2845. Hey.
Yet incredibly, by simply pushing random buttons on the keypad, Stanley happened to input the correct code by sheer luck. Amazing.
Wow.
He stepped into the newly
Stupendous.
opened passageway.
Oh, a secret passageway. That looks like an industrial passageway. So yeah, I'm getting like Portal vibes, I guess, but without the puzzle solving in Portal. But that's a welcome arrow. Whoa, blood? Or a shadow? That's a shadow. Loading, okay.
Descending deeper into the building, Stanley realized he felt a bit peculiar. It was a stirring of emotion in his chest, as though he felt more free to think for himself, to question the nature of his job. Why did he feel this now, when for years it had never occurred to him? This question would not go unanswered for long.
See, I thought we were just a drone in an office, but apparently there's more to this office building than meets the eye. Oh, I'm going with the narrative.
Stanley walked straight ahead.
Mind control facility. Now we're talking.
Mind control facility.
Escape? No, we're gonna go to the mind control facility. I want my mind control, damn it. Is it our mind that's gonna be controlled, or are we gonna be controlling other people's minds?
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out?
The strength and the curiosity. Oh yeah, you know that for my next playthrough I'm gonna go the exact opposite. What is this, Resident Evil 2? Can we turn...
Now, the
whoa.
monsters jumped to life. Their true nature
He's
revealed.
fired.
Each bore the number of an employee in the building, Stanley's co-workers. The lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen. And Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing.
Jeez. And there's no one in any of the offices. Okay, where's 427? We are 427, right? So we're right here. Right there. Is that my office? Can I zoom in? No. Is there employee number 1? Yeah, there's employee number nothing too. Is that gonna catapult us up?
This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly?
Well, I guess we're going up.
No. He refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control? Never. It was unthinkable. Wasn't it? Was it even possible? Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world? But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions.
Wow.
Happy, or sad, or content. Walking, eating, working. All of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. For he would dismantle the controls once and for all.
What? Who was that? I've had enough of this mind control shenanigans. Mind control status offline. I guess blue is online? Yeah, what happens if we press the blue button? That's 10? Is that the power? What do these other colored buttons do? Nothing. I wonder if we have to press them in like a particular order. Four. Okay. Or maybe we press it 4 times. Let's try that. Let's press it 3 more times. Oh. They tricked us. I can't jump or anything. Console disabled. Purple. Those are new. That's a new color. Whoa. Five. Mind control is idle, awaiting input. Is that where we input? This is freaky.
And when at last he found the source of the room's power, he knew it was his duty, his obligation, to put an end to this horrible place and to everything it stood for.
We gotta turn it off. Turn it off. The end. Probably, right?
Blackness and a rising chill of uncertainty. Was it over? Yes. He had won. He had defeated the machine, unshackled himself from someone else's command. Freedom was mere moments away. And yet, even as the immense door slowly opened, Stanley reflected on how many puzzles still lay
Of course.
Where had his co-workers gone? How had he been freed from the machine's grasp? What other mysteries did this strange building hold? But as sunlight streamed into the chamber...
Whoa, that's cool. Yeah, it's actually opening.
...to him, for it was not knowledge or even power that he had been seeking, but happiness.
Look at that, we're free.
His goal had not been to understand, but to let go. No longer would anyone tell him where to go, what to do, or how to feel. whatever life he lives,
Wow.
it will be his. And that was all he needed to know. It was perhaps the only thing worth knowing. Stanley stepped through the open door.
Are we in Oblivion now? Are we in Cyrodiil? This is
Stanley
freaky.
felt the cool breeze upon his skin, the feeling of liberation, the immense possibility of the new.
I do feel liberated.
This was exactly the way, right now, that things were meant to happen. And Stanley was happy.
Well, I think that was the first playthrough. Achievement unlocked. We beat the game. Yeah, what? It took 20 minutes? Oh, we're back here. It's Monday again. God damn it. This was all a bad dream.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers.
Yeah, I've had a cold for like a month now. On and off. Like, some days are better, some days are worse. And it's fucking driving me crazy. Like, coughing and just a runny nose. So yeah, I'm not surprising that I do sound a bit stuffy. Okay, so this is the opposite playthrough. We're gonna do everything oppositely.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
This is the left one, right?
This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
Nope. No time for breaks.
Yes, truly a room worth admiring. It had really been worth the detour after all, just to spend a few moments here in this immaculate, beautifully constructed room. Stanley simply stood here, drinking it all in.
Drinking the cold drinks in for $1.25? Who is $1.25? Why not make it just $1 or like $2 or $1.50? But $1.25, come on now.
Yes, really, really worth it being here in the room. A room so utterly captivating that even though all your co-workers have mysteriously vanished, here you sit looking at these chairs and some paintings. Really worth it.
Really? Can we actually sit down?
At this point, but eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
We're going to take the second door on our right. Or this door.
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't 5 years ago.
How'd I keep this job anyway? Caution, do not lie. If you are lying right now, stop. Okay. Warning, do not jump from the cargo lift while it is in motion. Will cause death. Penalty for misuse of cargo lift, $1,000. That's coming out of your last paycheck. Penalty for jumping off the cargo lift, $5,000. Wow. Do not jump from the cargo lift while it is in motion. Well, I guess that means we gotta.
Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the
Whee!
wrong foot here. But in his eagerness to prove that he is in control of the story and no one gets to tell him what to do, Stanley leapt from the platform and plunged to his death.
Fuck you, I won't do what you tell me.
Everyone thinks you are very powerful.
In my coffin. Very powerful in my coffin. Alright.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
So we saw 2 endings so far. We saw the good ending.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors,
God damn it,
he
excuse
entered
me.
the door on his left.
And the dead ending.
This was not the correct way to
the jumping off the lift
and
ending.
Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. Wow. Yes.
Good old employee
This
lounge.
room. What a beautiful room. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
Okay, we still got to take that door sometime.
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't 5 years ago. Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not.
Oh, he's our enemy.
Investing your trust in someone else can be difficult.
He's totally our enemy.
The fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley. Someone you've forgotten about. Please, stop trying to make every decision by yourself. Now, I'm not asking for me, I'm asking for her.
Who's her?
This is it, Stanley. Your chance to redeem yourself. To put your work aside. To let her back into your life. She's been waiting.
Who's she? Is there any other way to go? I guess we could jump off again, but I don't want to do that. Let's go through this door then. Hello? Whoa.
That's her, Stanley. You need to be the one to do this. To reach out to her. If you can truly place
Look how it's plugged in.
Another, then pick up the phone.
Wait, is it plugged into like a normal electrical outlet, not a phone outlet? That's weird. Hello? The end again.
Oh, Stanley, is that you? Hold on, sweetie. Sorry to keep you waiting. I'm just pulling the bread out of the oven. All right. Okay, there we go. All right, now, I want you to come in and tell me all about your day.
What?
Gotcha.
What the frick?
Oh, come on. Did you actually think you had a loving wife who'd want to commit their life to you? I'm trying to make a point here, Stanley. I'm trying to get you to see something. Come inside. Let me show you what's really going on here.
That's disturbing, man. Is our apartment also 427? Okay.
This is a very sad story about the death of a man named Stanley.
Are we going to get murdered by a mannequin? Good morning, employee 427. Press X on your gamepad. Okay.
Stanley is quite a boring fellow. He has a job that demands nothing of him, and every button that he pushes is a reminder of the inconsequential nature of his existence.
Please press left bumper. No, we're going to press the right trigger. Or the right bumper. Or the left trigger. I guess we got to press the left bumper.
Look at him there, pushing buttons, doing exactly what he's told to do. Now he's pushing a button. Now he's eating lunch. Now he's going home. Now he's coming back to work. One might even feel sorry for him, except that he's chosen this life.
Please press Y. Why?
But in his mind, in his mind he can go on fantastic adventures. From behind his desk, Stanley dreamed of wild expeditions into the unknown, fantastic discoveries of new lands. It was wonderful, and each day that he returned to work was a reminder that none of it would ever happen to him.
Please press X to watch TV. Okay. It's like, would you kindly press X to watch TV?
And so he began to fantasize about his own job. First, he imagined that one day...
Did the TV just disappear?
He stepped up from his desk to realize that all of his co-workers, his boss, everyone in the building had suddenly vanished off the face of the earth. The thought excited him terribly.
Please press right bumper to spend time with the boys.
So he went further. He imagined that he came to two open doors and that he could go through either. At last, choice. It barely even mattered what lay behind each door. The mere thought that his decisions would mean something was almost too wonderful to behold.
Please press B to prepare dinner. What's for dinner? Microwave dinner.
As he wandered through this fantasy world, he began to fill it with many possible paths and destinations. Down one path lay an enormous round room with monitors and mind controls. And down another was a yellow line that weaved in many directions. And down another was a game with a baby. And he called it the Stanley Parable.
Please press X to tell your kids a story. We have kids?
It was such a wonderful fantasy, and so in his head he relived it again, and then again, and again, over and over, wishing beyond hope that it would never end, that he might always feel this free. Surely there's an answer.
I've never felt freer.
Path, mustn't there be? Perhaps if he played just one more time.
Please press left trigger to tell your wife you love her. I love you, darling.
But there is no answer.
Aww.
How could there possibly be? In reality, all he's doing is pushing the same buttons he always has. Nothing has changed. The longer he spends here, the more invested he gets, the more he forgets which life is the real one.
Please press Y to go to sleep. I bet that's going to turn into like another Office part.
And I'm trying to tell him this, that in this world he can never be anything but an observer, that as long as he remains here, he's slowly killing himself. But he won't listen to me. He won't stop. Here, watch this. Stanley, the next time the screen asks you to push a button, do not do it.
Do not push the button. Please press A to be at work in the morning. You got a coworker got freaked out by this game? Yeah, it is kind of freaky. Like, it's existential. Touches on existential topics. Okay, what if we press B? Or X? Or Y? Or left? That's crouch? Okay. I guess we have to press A. To be at work in the morning. Again?
You see? Can he just not hear me? How can I tell him in a way that he'll understand that every second he remains
back at work,
he's electing to kill himself? How can I get him to see what I see? How can I make him look at himself?
Please press X to question nothing. Everything is as intended.
I suppose I can't. Not in the way I want him to. But I don't make the rules. I simply play to my intended purpose, the same as Stanley. We're not so different, I suppose. I'll try once more to convey all this to him. I'm compelled to. I must. Perhaps, well, maybe this time he'll see. Maybe this time. And I tried again.
Please die.
Stanley pushed a button. And I tried again. And Stanley pushed a button. And
I guess I pushed the button. I just pushed the right stick to look around. And that was the button, I guess, that they wanted me to push. Any button. Holy shit, okay. I think if we didn't push a button, then we just would have stood there for hours. Okay, this time I want to take the right path, but I want to take that that escape route that I came upon in my first run through here.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office.
I am in disbelief. Oh, we can go downstairs too?
Staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Okay, yeah, I was upstairs. We got to go downstairs at a different time too. That's for the next playthrough.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. What could it mean? Stanley wondered aloud to note.
Those posters look like those stock posters that are like supposed to be motivational, like success.
Looking behind paintings,
hang in there.
Desperate for clues to his situation. His attention was
excuse me.
caught by a keypad behind the boss's desk. What could its purpose be? In fact, this keypad
2845.
guarded the terrible secret that lay buried below his feet. And so the boss had... Stanley was in such a rush to get through the story as quickly as possible, he didn't even have a single minute to just let the narrator talk.
This narrator wants to talk.
That kind of anxiety isn't healthy. So he relaxed for a few moments with some calming New Age music.
Holy jeez. I feel relaxed already. Piano is accurate.
Feeling soothed and
well, that's half a key.
Stanley calmly walked forward into the opened passageway.
Who constructs a piano with half a key? That's a lazy pianomanship.
Stanley walked straight ahead.
Yeah, it was here.
To the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
Nope, I walked through this door. This is the escape door.
Although this passageway had the word escape written on it, the truth was that at the end of this hall, Stanley would meet his violent death.
What kind of violent death? Are we gonna fight,
The door behind him was not shut. Stanley still had every opportunity to turn around and get back on track.
We're gonna fight, Gwendolyn from Dark Souls, never-ending hallway.
At this point, Stanley was making a conscious, concerted effort to walk forward and willingly confront his death.
Yeah, we're gonna fight Gwen. That's where we fight Gwen. Yeah. All right. One more playthrough. Whoa.
As the machine whirred into motion and Stanley was inched closer,
Oh, we're gonna get smushed.
He reflected that his life had been of no consequence whatsoever. Stanley can't see the bigger picture. He doesn't know the real story, trapped forever in his narrow vision of what this world is.
We gotta fight Gwen to win.
His death was of no great loss.
Win it to win it.
Plucking the eyeballs from a blind man. So he resigned and willingly accepted this violent end.
Oh no, I'm gonna get squished. No, no, no.
Life. Farewell, Stanley.
Shit. Oh, this is the end of us. Oh no. Ah! That's it. We're lunch meat.
Farewell, Stanley, cried the narrator, as Stanley was led helplessly into the enormous metal jaws. In a single visceral instant, Stanley was obliterated as the machine crushed every bone in his body, killing him instantly.
Good. Whoa. And we could still walk with every bone in our body obliterated. We made it.
And yet it would be just a few minutes before Stanley would restart the game, back in his office, as alive as ever. What exactly did the narrator think he was going to accomplish?
Yeah, I don't know. That's cool. I like that. Reminds me of the Ishimura in Dead Space. Just the way, like, it's written in huge letters. Is this the boss's mansion now?
When every path you can walk has been created for you long in advance, death becomes meaningless, making life the same. Do you see now? Do you see that Stanley was already dead from the moment he hit start?
Oh, those are nature paintings. Okay. I thought they were race car paintings. Hey, doesn't that look like that album cover to that Pink Floyd album, The Endless River? All that's missing is a boat with, like, people in it. The two doors. The set of two open doors were the very first concrete piece of the Stanley Parable's design. Whoa, is this like a... like, museum of the game? Yeah, it kind of does, right? That's what it's called, right? The Endless River, right. Once the room was created, the rest of the game emerged as an extension of it, an exploration of the contradiction this room posed. Whoa. Those are true paintings. I'm gonna go here. I wanna live right here. What's behind here? Stanley's computer. Huh. Corridor. The pacing of this opening section was important to get right. This corridor has been moved and altered to make sure the player reaches the 2 doors in a good time. Yeah, no dawdling. No taking your time. Excuse me. I don't think we read this sign here. Office layout. This blueprint shows the office from the beginning of the game. The path from Stanley's office to the 2 doors are the first part of the game that was built. Well, I read that. Okay. Oh, those are filing cabinets. Look. Good thing they labeled them. Otherwise, I would have been lost. Filing cabinets. Office computers. Hey, we can play solitaire? Or not. Employee database. Can I turn it back on? Boo earns. Now it's back on. That'd be so cool if we could actually play solitaire. Credits. Awesome. Written and designed by Davey Redden and William Poog. Additional level designs, Colin Eddings and Jack Parsons. Programming, Jesus Higueras. Sound design, Robin Arnott, Eduardo Ortiz. And the impeccable Kevin Brighting as the narrator. Or Kevin Brighting. Original music, Giannis Ioannidis, Blake Robinson, Christian Backer. Additional voice work, Leslie Staples, Aviva Pinchas, Jenny Kuglin. Original artwork, Simon Boxer, Mika Lati. Steam support, Jason Ruiman, Cassidy Gerber, Mike Dunkel. It's the Dunkler. Peter Wyckoff. Some of these names seem like Dutch. Or like Nordic. Model design, Andreas Jorgensen. Animation, Rai Soderberg, Maxime Lebled. Stanley character skin, Taggart, Dean Darko. Additional music, Siddhartha Barnhoon. Siddhartha, isn't that the name of the vocalist and son? Kevin MacLeod, webmaster Shane Sweeney, made using Source by Valve. Awesome, Valve. Maintenance room, an early version of the maintenance room. That's it. Oh, wow. These are screenshots of the Stanley Parable HD remix. Okay. So I'm just playing like the regular version of the Stanley Parable. More endings, fewer endings, more narrators, fewer narrators, more Stanley, less Stanley, whatever you want. The point of the Stanley Parable HD remix is to win. Okay. Did I win? Are you winning, son? Am I going crazy? Maybe it isn't the same image. Was that black clock there before? I don't remember. How do I go back? Can you check for me? Yeah. The point of Stanley Parable HD remix is to lose. What? I thought it was to win. Can't see the images because of all this text. If someone could just get rid of all the text, maybe then I could see what the game is about. Words, 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 larger words. Green light. In September 2012, 10 years ago, more than 10 years ago, we submitted the Stanley Parable to Greenlight, Valve's process of approving games for Steam. The Greenlight page had only a series of cryptic photos, which were still enough to win the community's approval. Cool. The Lounge, an early version of The Lounge. The Cargo Lift. The second version is functionally the same as what's in the final game, but we wanted it to look more like a place where cargo was actually stored. Looks like it. The Cargo Lift was always intended to offer the choice of staying on or jumping to a different path. However, after this early version we decided we also wanted the option of the player falling to their death. Good thing. That's the meeting room. One option, a doorway to maintenance in the lounge. Two options, 2 doorways to maintenance. One option, 1 doorway to maintenance in the lounge and the original back on track option. Number 4, event. What about this? Maintenance layout. The flow of hallways following the first 2 doors was important to get right, since players will replay them so many times. We discussed a number of designs, but ultimately it was the simplest version that won out. Okay, so these are just the different ideas that they had. Okay, cool. This reminds me of the Ratchet and Clank games, like, because they always had like museums basically that you could unlock once you beat the game to kind of get a behind the scenes look at the game. Zending levers? These levers were originally part of the Zending. What's Zending? The player would pull a lever and the narrator would describe what color lever they had pulled. Orange, purple, and green. Trailers. We ran 4 major teaser trailers over the course of the game's development, each meant to convey something about the spirits of the game. This is the first one, released in May 2012. It features a series of broken rooms and the voice of the narrator informing viewers that he is preparing a new version of the Stanley Parable. Okay. The game is now paused. It is. Begin the game again. Resume the game options. Return to the menu. We can return or begin the game again just by the pause menu. Cool. Escape menu. For a long time, we had an ending that only ended when the player restarted from the escape menu. Unfortunately, very few players realized this was what they were supposed to do, which was frustrating for everyone. They had an ending that only ended when the player restarted from the escape menu. Oh, okay. The apartment timer. In the previous version of the choice leading to the apartment ending, a timer would give you 15 seconds to pick up the phone. Not picking up the phone would lead to a different ending. Okay. I think we discovered everything here. But I think there were still some stairs to the right here that I didn't go up. Yeah, this way. Yeah. Boss's office. Screens from the development of the boss's office. That's the office clock. It's almost lunchtime. Did we get the freedom ending the first time? This is the very first incarnation of the freedom ending in the game's alpha. Cool. What was that? Countdown desk. One of the desks from an early version of the countdown ending. Freedom ending. This is the freedom ending as it existed in beta. Okay. Monitor room elevator. For a time, the elevator in the monitor room could go up or down with freedom above and countdown below. We abandoned this when players found it too difficult to remember what was up and what was down and placed the 2 endings together instead. Which way is up? Which way is down? I forget. That's an early version of the countdown room. Game design mock-up. This is a level that William, the level designer, sent Davey, the writer, as a kind of audition piece. The strength of this level got William hired to design the full game. Though much of the environment has changed, the basic layout from this mock-up is still in the game. And here's our office. Which one's our office, though? Stanley's office. From left to right, the evolution of Stanley's office over time. The first was created in November 2011, the second March 2012, and the third February 2013. So over about a year and 3 months or so. Okay, so we got some filing cabinets, computer, desk, coffee, cup, mug, chair, 3 more filing cabinets. Less filing cabinets. We got a phone now. No coffee. 2 monitors. Some paperwork trays. Oh, there are 2 coffee mugs. All right. All right. Cool. Well, I think we've seen everything in here. I want to go through it one more time, but I'm going to take the stairs down when it says to go up to the boss's office. And see where that takes us.
Stanley knew the office layout like the back of his hand. It was only a matter of time before he found the others, wherever they were. Just a matter of time.
Just a matter of time. Yeah, we've played through this now, what, 4 or 5 times?
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
And there's still the option of messing up the code in the boss's room, too.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Downstairs to the boss's office, right? I feel totally safe and welcome. What kind of part job is that?
But Stanley just couldn't do it. He considered the possibility of facing his boss. Admitting he had left his post during work hours, he might be fired for that. And in such a competitive economy, why had he taken that risk? All because he believed everyone had vanished? His boss would think he was crazy. And then something occurred to Stanley. Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy. All of my co-workers blinking mysteriously out of existence in a single moment for no reason at all? None of it made any logical sense. And as Stanley pondered this, he began to make other strange observations. For example, why couldn't he see his feet?
Whoa.
Why did doors close automatically behind him wherever he went? And for that matter, these rooms were starting to look pretty familiar. Were they simply repeating?
They probably are.
Stanley said to himself, this is all too strange. This can't be real. And at last, he came to the conclusion that had been on the tip of his tongue. He just hadn't found the words for it. I'm dreaming, he yelled. This is all a dream. Oh, what a relief Stanley felt to have finally found an answer, an explanation. His co-workers weren't actually gone. He wasn't going to lose his job. He wasn't crazy after all. And he thought to himself, I suppose I'll wake up soon. I'll have to go back to my boring real-life job pushing buttons. I may as well enjoy this while I'm still lucid. So, he imagined himself flying and began to gently
What?
float to the ground. Then he imagined himself soaring through space on a magical starfield, and it too was
Yo!
so much fun, and Stanley marveled that he had still not woken up. How was he remaining so lucid? And then perhaps the strangest question of them all entered Stanley's head. One he was amazed he hadn't
Can we go
asked
back
himself
there?
sooner. Why is there a voice in my head dictating everything that I'm doing and thinking?
I want to go back to space.
Now the voice was describing itself being considered by Stanley, who found it particularly strange. I'm dreaming about a voice describing me, thinking about how it's describing my thoughts, he thought. And while he thought it all very odd and wondered if this voice spoke to all people in their dreams, the truth was that, of course, this was not a dream. How could it be? Was Stanley simply deceiving himself, believing that if he's asleep, he doesn't have to take responsibility for himself? Stanley is as awake right now as he's ever been in his life. Now, hearing the voice speak these words was quite a shock to Stanley. After all, he knew for certain, beyond a doubt, that this was in fact a dream. Did the voice not see him float and make the magical stars just a moment ago? How else would the voice explain all that? This voice was a part of himself too. Surely, if he could just... He would prove it. He would prove that he was in control, that this was a dream. So he closed his eyes gently, and he invited himself to wake up. He felt the cool weight of the blanket on his skin, the press of the mattress on his back, the fresh air of a world outside this one. Let me wake up, he thought to himself.
We're gonna wake up in our office again.
This dream. I wish it to be over. Let me go back to my job. Let me continue pushing the buttons. Please, it's all I want. I want my apartment, and my wife, and my job. All I want is my life exactly the way it's always been. My life is normal. I am normal. Everything will be fine. I am okay.
See, what I want to know is how do we...
Stanley began screaming.
Jesus Christ.
Please, someone wake me up. My name is Stanley. I have a boss. I have an office. I am real. Please, just someone tell me I am real. I must be real. I must be. Can anyone hear my voice? Who am I? Who am I? And everything went black.
The end.
This is the story of a woman named Mariella.
What?
Mariella woke up on a day like any other. She arose, got dressed, gathered her belongings, and walked to her place of work. But on this particular day, her walk was interrupted by the body of a man who had stumbled through town talking and screaming to himself, and then collapsed dead on the sidewalk. And although she would soon turn to go call for an ambulance, for just a few brief moments, she considered the strange man. He was obviously crazy. This much she knew. Everyone knows what crazy people look like. And in that moment, she thought to herself how lucky she was to be normal.
Or is she?
I am sane. I am in control of my mind. I know what is real and what isn't. It was comforting to think this, and in a certain way, seeing this man made her feel better. But then she remembered the meeting she had scheduled for that day. The very important people whose impressions of her would affect her career, and by extension, the rest of her life. She had no time for this, so it was only a moment that she stood there, staring down at the body. And then she turned and ran.
Okay. That's another ending. Okay, let's do it one more time.
Stanley had never seen the office this brightly lit. Was it a sign of something? He hoped it was. He hoped very much that it was.
One more time, but let's go through that other door in the garage that we didn't go through this time. But yeah, what I wanted to know is how did that car get in there and park so well? Seems like a very tight squeeze to park a car in.
When Stanley came to a set of two open doors, he entered the door on his left.
I guess that did seem a bit brighter than usual, right?
Either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office. But Stanley just couldn't.
Yeah, we didn't go through this door.
He considered the possibility of facing his boss. Admitting he had left his post during work hours, he might be fired for that. And in such a competitive economy,
what?
Why had he taken that risk? All because he believed everyone had
what?
vanished. His boss would think he was crazy. And then something occurred to Stanley.
What?
Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy. All of my co-workers blinking mysteriously out of existence in a single moment for no reason at all. None of it made any logical sense. And as Stanley pondered this, he began to make other strange observations. For example, why couldn't he see his feet when he looked down?
I'm perplexed as you are.
Automatically behind him wherever he went. And for that matter, these rooms were starting to look pretty familiar. Were they?
Oh yeah.
No, Stanley said to himself, this is all too strange. This can't be real. And at last, he came to the conclusion that had been on the tip of his tongue. He just hadn't found the words for it.
This is crazy.
I'm dreaming, he yelled. This is all a dream. Oh, what a relief.
Okay, I want to do the space part again.
To have finally found an answer, an explanation. His co-workers weren't...
We have to do the space part again.
He wasn't going to lose his job. He wasn't crazy after all. And he thought to himself, I suppose I'll wake up soon. I'll have to go back to my boring real-life job pushing buttons. I may as well enjoy this while I'm still lucid. So, he imagined himself flying and began to gently float above the ground.
Up we go.
Then he imagined himself soaring through space on a magical
this part.
starfield, and it too.
Yeah.
It was so much fun, and Stanley marveled that he had still not woken up. How was he remaining so lucid? And then perhaps the strangest question of them all entered Stanley's head.
Okay. I think that's it. I think that'll do it. So, what do you guys think this game's about? Like the theme of the game, the message that they're trying to convey? Because parables are usually like about lessons and things we can learn from the story. So I think it's about like not being content in like your day-to-day routine, like where it's easy to get lost in the monotony of like day-to-day work, you know, sleep and all that. You think it's a Truman Show type of stuff? Maybe. Yeah, like Stanley's by himself in the office. No one else is there, even though the narrator says. Yeah, I recommend it, man. I got it on sale on Steam for less than $10, I think. Exactly, yeah. You think the message is not be content with life and go against nature and try something new. Exactly, yeah. And just don't be afraid to try new things, even if you fail. Because that's how we learn. And I guess there is no fate. Like we always have the option of we always have a choice. And it may be hard to like do the opposite choice of what we're used to, but like I guess we have to weigh the options too. Like, is it worth it to do this? Because if we do this, then that means this might happen. That could be disastrous or it could be rewarding. Except don't do hard drugs. No, I agree. I agree. Yeah, that was decent. We got what, 4 or 5 playthroughs out of that in just over an hour or so. Yeah. And I apologize again for the coughing. I see it like clipping on my meter here, and it must have been loud, so I apologize. Yeah. I don't know what game I'll play next. I was thinking actually that instead of doing like full playthroughs on Twitch, I'll just like I'll keep it for like first playthroughs. So like you get my first impression of the game, and then I'll just play the rest of the game on my own time off Twitch, unless there's like a huge demand for it. But yeah, that was enjoyable. I think my favorite part had to have been the floating in space part. That was unexpected. Yeah, that was cool. Very cool. And yeah, if you guys want to watch the full video of this, if you missed anything, this should be up on my YouTube in a day or so. Yeah. Yeah, so thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing. Peace.